John. My coffee to your, what was that in there? Water?
This is Chardonnay.
Oh.
Chateau Saint Michel.
It's water.
Oh, yes, you're right. It's just water. Yeah. Okay.
That was coffee.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just getting all comfortable here. I got a pillow behind my back
Good.
and everything.
That's
Trying
good.
to see how we look on camera. Do we look good, John?
We do. I'm trying to make sure that keep only one chin showing at one time. It's hard to do now.
I've got my shirt buttoned up so you can't see my wrinkled.
Yeah.
They call it a décolleté.
Oh, décolleté. That's a different meaning, isn't it? I mean, never mind. Sorry.
It's like the word lingerie.
Okay, décolleté.
Which is French for your underwear.
Yes.
Yeah. And décolleté is French for my neck
Okay.
and chest area.
Right.
That's all it's used in cosmetics.
Okay.
So
My décolleté is well hidden. It's well hidden right now. I don't want my décolleté showing at this particular time. Okay.
What did you do this morning when you got up, John?
I started out with my cup of coffee and my cream by the fireplace, and
What brand of coffee?
I don't probably Starbucks. We drink a lot of
Yeah.
Starbucks.
You go over to Starbucks and buy your coffee.
Actually, no, we just get it from. Sometimes we get it from just Walmart.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You shop at Walmart. You go all the way in there.
We do actually, because when the pandemic started, Walmart started doing this really cool deal where you could just order online, drive over there, and you wait in the special area, and they just bring you your freaking groceries right out there.
Nice.
Load them into your car, and it's not even that much more expensive as if you went in and just bought it and dealt with it. And so we just got used to doing that. It's just like a really cool way to shop. So
You mean you guys go into Walmart frequently, like once a week? And
we don't
get
actually
your
have to go
groceries?
in the store. You just order online. You drive up. You park. They bring your groceries out to you. And they
You're
load
saying
it.
is that once a week?
Every couple of weeks.
And so you guys don't stop at my house and visit me. You come into town every couple of weeks, and you just drive past my house.
Yes.
You know, I'm only 2 blocks off of the main
I
drag.
know you are. I figure you're busy. You're I don't want to say it. Sagittarius.
Yes, I am a Sagittarius.
So Sagittariuses are always busy.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've learned recently.
What
about
else?
Sagittarius.
What else did you learn about a Sagittarius?
Well, you've got all kind of stuff going. You're optimistic. You're happy. You're energetic. You just have you want to have a lot of fun. And you're cheerful. You're optimistic. So.
Wow.
Sounds like you.
And what are you?
Well, of course I'm Cancer, but that's like I'm more melancholy than that. I have to.
You are more
I
melancholy
am.
than the typical Cancer that I've
You
met.
think so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I've always been that way. I mean, I have to fight that. I have to try to fight that tendency.
Yeah.
Because it'll just shut me down if I let it.
You're kind of an emotionally. You get grabbed. Do you get grabbed emotionally and?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes then I have to just. I just want to sit and stop and just drink something and I have to force myself to just
chill.
I have to force myself to just keep going.
Because if you didn't force yourself to just keep going, what would happen? What would be the
I would just
scenario?
stop and think about everything without doing anything.
You would think a lot. Are you an overthinker?
Probably, yes. Yes, probably I am. Yeah. And I think Pam, my wife, would agree.
How would you describe Pam? I mean, if you're an overthinker, what is Pam?
Pam deals with negative stuff and stress by just doing stuff.
She keeps busy.
It's awesome. It's an awesome characteristic of her. She deals with stress For example, recently our daughter she was at a trade show in Las Vegas, and she had a severe, very serious medical emergency. She had to go into the hospital and had some surgery, and I was just like wanted to just sit down and worry about it, you know. But Pam was like, "No, I'm going to work." I told her, "Don't you want to just stay home and wait by the phone and see what happens?" Nope. I'm just going to go to work. I deal with stuff like this better by just doing stuff.
Yeah.
That is such an awesome characteristic to have.
Yeah.
I wish I was like that, but I'm not. I'm not like that, and I can't make myself be any different.
Well, what would you say is one of your most positive, something that people admire about you as far as your personality? You say that you overthink things, but I mean, what do people say about you when they explain who Jon Nygaard is?
I think I do have the ability to, when I worry about stuff, it's valid, and sometimes, you know, I'm kind of just somebody who can maybe see the potential problems in a certain situation, and then and be ready for them. And I think that's that works out that way sometimes.
So you think ahead?
Yeah. I think so.
If there's a potential problem, you...
So I think I'm more able to do that than, well, I don't want to criticize my wife, but so Pam is more like, let's just do stuff. Let's just, let's just take care of stuff. Don't worry about it. We'll just keep going. And I'm like, well, wait a minute now. Let's think about this issue. This could hit us. This could hurt us.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm right. Sometimes I'm wrong. And it turned out that she was right.
Yeah.
To just keep going, just not worry about it, just keep going, which is usually the right thing to do. So,
yeah, would you say that, I know there's that term that couples have, well, she balances me out, I'm the opposite, and yeah, but you guys seem to get along pretty well. I mean, you kind of shared with me, we had dinner a few weeks ago, you and me and Pam, your wife, and I really got the idea that you guys, you do your own thing effectively, and it actually works for you guys.
It really does.
As a couple.
It really does. She's real involved with the Stage West Theater Group, and they've been, unfortunately, because of the virus, pandemic stuff, they've been kind of shut down the last couple of years. But yes, before that, she was real involved in that group. I was real involved in my music, and it works out really good. Yeah.
I really like Pam. For one thing, I was stunned by how beautiful she is. How did you score that?
I don't know.
She is so beautiful. I mean, her eyes and her beautiful silver hair. I mean, I don't know if she
I was just lucky.
knows that I have a girl crush on her. I don't have girl crushes, believe me, but that is one beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was real fortunate.
You met her.
I managed to fool her into hooking up with me.
No.
So,
how old were you when you guys met?
we were really young. We actually met in church.
Yeah. In California?
Yes, and in the Sacramento area. I was 22 and she was 19 when we started to date.
So was she in college?
Yes, part-time. She was in college part-time. And I had just kind of gotten out of college, and I got a job over in the Bay Area, and I moved over there, got my own place, and we continued to see each other, even though she was living in Sacramento. I was living in Concord, California. But it wasn't long before we just decided this is going really well, so let's get married.
Yeah. What was a typical date with Pam? Do you remember your first date?
I do. We went and saw a movie, and then we went out afterwards for some, I think, coffee. And she was very shy. Hardly would talk to me, hardly would look at me. And
you know what that means when somebody doesn't meet you eye to eye, when they're always looking down? Unless they have a crush on you. Mm-hmm. So she liked you right from the beginning, it sounds like.
Hopefully, that's true.
Yeah.
But I had borrowed my dad's car, which was this big old huge Oldsmobile. It was a 68 Olds. And it had just like this humongous bench front seat, right? Mm-hmm. And she sat like as far as she could off to the right, and she wasn't talking to me. So while I was driving her home, I was thinking, I don't know if this is going so well.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't planning on calling her again, because I just thought, she must not like me that much. Then a couple weeks later, she called me up, and asked me to drive up to the mountains with her.
Wow, that's a big turn.
And then I was so blown away by that I was like, really? And she goes, she sounded really nervous. She said, yeah, haven't you ever had a girl ask you out before? Well, I said, sure, that sounds like fun. So I thought, well, I guess she still likes me a little bit. So we kept seeing each other after that, and that's kind of how things happen.
She strikes me as a woman who is really self-confident.
Definitely.
And kind of a woman that you could, put in charge of something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny, when you talk to her, she never considers herself like a strong leader, but she obviously is, and she's had a lot of success in her jobs, because the thing about her is she doesn't really particularly enjoy necessarily managing people, but the thing about her that she has is she just, in her mind, she sees like a solution to a problem, and then she just goes for it. And she doesn't necessarily ask anybody, what they think about it. She just does it.
She fixes it.
And people see that in her, and they think, well, she should, manage this group or whatever. And it's like happened to her so many times where she just kind of showed up in some situation, and then she ends up being the president or something. Well, it was like that with Stage West. She just kind of nonchalantly showed up. She was thinking she wanted to be in one of the plays, and just after a short matter of time, they made her president of the board. So yeah, she's not a real aggressive leader type, like where she likes telling this person to do that and this person to do that, but she sees the solution to the problem and is able to implement it, and people see that in her.
Yeah. Sharp woman.
Yeah.
And a good cook. I had dinner with you guys. It was really nice.
Yeah, too good of a cook.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And so what year did you guys get married? Oh no, I asked the wrong question, I think.
Sorry, Pam. 1977. Got married.
That's the year I got married.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got married in Portland, Oregon. Interesting. What month?
I was just making sure that was really the right year. See, it was. We met in 76. We got married the next year. Yeah, so 77, and it was November. It was like right around Thanksgiving time. Yeah.
Cool. So I was thinking about that. You told me about your first date with her. She sat kind of far over.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me wonder. Because I remember myself at that age being really intimidated by men, and I was really afraid of men at that age. But if I could put myself back in that time and think if I was in the front seat of one of those beautiful old cars that you described, and it's with a guy that was were you playing guitar by then?
Sure. I played guitar my whole life.
Did she know that?
I don't think she'd ever heard me play.
What did she know about you?
Well,
you were met in church. Were you playing guitar in the church?
I was not.
You were not. You were just in the youth group kind of.
Yeah, it was like a Bible study or something.
Well, you must have been. She must have been attracted to you because she was kind of hiding at the other end of the car.
Yeah. I asked her about that, and she said, "Well," I said, "Why were you so like? You seemed so shy. Like you weren't even sure you could even like look at me or talk to me or something." And she said, "Well, you just were older, and you just seemed kind of cool and slick, like you'd been around."
Oh. Had you been around the block?
Not like a lot. I mean, I had a few girlfriends, sure, but it was like not a huge deal. I was like,
were
22.
You kind of
I mean, come on, how do you know at 22?
22. Well, at 22, a man would have really scared me. Were you like you had experience with women?
Oh my gosh!
Did you have experience with women when you were 22?
Well, a little bit.
Yeah. What's a little bit? You mean
I'm not going there.
Yeah. So I wonder, was she experienced with men at 19?
Gosh. She had, she had some boyfriends.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't know all the details, but yeah, she dated some guys.
Why did you ask her out the first time?
I thought she was really cute. She was. I met her in like a Bible study.
Yeah.
And
how was she dressed that night? Do you remember what she was wearing?
And I don't really remember her clothes too much. I just remember she just had a real pretty face and she had pretty hair and
Well, her
she
hair
seemed
was
like a real,
black, right?
yeah. She seemed just real cute and nice, and just liked her. You know,
Yeah.
I just wanted to get to know her. I didn't really know her that well, but
Yeah.
she
Did you
just,
call her on the phone or?
I did. I called her on the phone and I said, "Hi, I'm in your group, and I was wondering if you'd like to get together and just go see a movie or something."
She must have just. I would have been just sweating bullets if some guy called me, and I would have just like scared.
She doesn't scare real easy. She's
Uh-huh.
freaking knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
So I thought she was scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys got married a year later. That's pretty quick.
It was very quick. We only.
Was that how the things were done? You were in a church system
Yeah.
at that time. What was that church system of?
Well, we actually were going to two different churches. We went to a real conservative church, and then we were going to this other church, which is more of a charismatic kind of a church. And part of the thing is that one of the things that kind of accelerated that whole thing of us getting married was I got a job in Concord, California, which was in the East Bay area, which is East San Francisco Bay Area. She was still working and living in Sacramento, which was at her parents' house. So once we got separated like that, it was harder. You know, we just really missed each other. So that kind of accelerated our plans to.
So that urgency and that angst to be together, kind of, yeah. I think if you're in a church system or a religious environment where you're not supposed to be physically involved, was that the case?
Part of it, yeah.
Because I think that kind of forces people to get married and connect sooner because they want to be physically together. And, I think in some situations that doesn't always work out.
Mm-hmm.
But for you guys, obviously, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So you missed each other.
We did. I remember the last night, so the night before I was supposed to move over there, we were at my parents' house and we're sitting on the couch and she just started to cry, these big tears coming down her face.
Oh my God.
So this is really personal stuff, guys.
Yeah,
I hope we...
This is what's really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, because people hear these stories and they identify with them.
Yeah.
So she was crying.
Yeah, she was sad.
Were you at her?
I was at my parents' house.
And she came to see you.
She came to see me there.
And you were sitting on the couch. Where was your mom and dad?
I don't know.
They weren't there.
They weren't.
Okay, so
they
go
maybe
ahead.
in the kitchen or something. I don't know.
So she started to cry.
She cried just real quietly. Yeah.
Why?
And I told her it's gonna be okay. We'll still be seeing each other,
Uh-huh.
so it's gonna be all right. So.
Did that make you fall more in love with her when you saw her cry?
It made me it made me want to comfort her, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Sure.
what happened after this time period?
Well, I moved over there. I started my job. It was a great job.
What were you doing?
I had finished an associate's degree in electronic technology.
Electronic technology. What is that?
It's just working working with electronic components, working with repairing electronic boards, repairing testing, troubleshooting electronic circuitry, figuring out what's wrong, and replacing the right part.
So you were learning diagrams and what do they call those?
Schematics.
Schematics.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could definitely read schematics. Mm-hmm. I had got an AA degree from American River College in Sacramento, which was a great place to go to school.
Say
for
that again.
American River College.
Where
it was in
that?
Sacramento.
Okay.
So it was a community college, but they had a well-known electronics technology program. So I got my associates there, and then I had interviewed for this job over in Concord, California, which is, I don't know if you know the San Francisco Bay Area, but it's so there's like the Big Bay.
Mm-hmm.
There's an area called the East Bay, which is over here. There's an area called the South Bay, which is down here at the bottom of the bay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the North Bay, and then there's the actual San Francisco Peninsula. So Concord was over in the East Bay, which is a real nice area. I had gotten a job at a particular company, and they manufacture test equipment for the military, basically. And I'm sorry, what was the question?
Let's see. You were working, and she cried on the couch, and then you got this job.
I got this job. It was a good job, and it was a great opportunity for me. I was working in an engineering group, and working with some really smart, great engineers, good people. And so I really enjoyed my job. But we continued to date. I would always go home on the weekends back to Sacramento.
And you would spend time with her.
I would spend time with her. We'd go out. I would stay at my parents' house when I went back to Sacramento.
Yeah.
And
how long did that go on, that weekend dating while you were working thing?
Probably about 8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was there a point where you said, we need to get married?
There was.
Do you remember that conversation?
I just asked her to marry me. I didn't. I was so young. I didn't know that the traditional way is to give somebody a ring.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of like hippie kids, sort of in a way. And I just get married. And she said, "Sure." That was kind of
was there a kiss?
Probably was a kiss at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay, so I want to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with the great Johnny Nygaard.
Okay.
Jon Nygaard. So John, you were just telling me about your kind of initial getting together with your beautiful wife, and I mentioned that, and I thought about this when I was taking a break. I don't talk about how beautiful I think women are. I just never have. Mm-hmm. But Pam is, and I'll say this again, she's one of the most beautiful women I've ever met. I mean, and her spirit is, she's gentle and she's kind. I mean, she gives you space in your life to play. I mean, I notice when our band is practicing, and Johnny's in a band with myself and Steve Travis and Tom Thompson, and I notice that she just gives you free reign to be gone as long as you want.
That's true.
And you stay up late and practice, and she's not intimidated by that or threatened by. I mean, you have got one of the most awesome partners that I've ever met. I mean, I'm really impressed by Pam. So
that's true.
So let's go on. So we were just talking about how you guys got together and how you met, and so let's go back in there where you started to get musically involved. I know you were in a church system, evangelical church system. And when in your life did you start getting interested in, was there a moment when you heard somebody play, because I know you're a guitarist, did you hear somebody playing and some lights and flashing lights and sirens went off in your head and you went, oh my God, I got to play guitar?
Yeah, there was a time like that. Probably, well, it's sort of an involved story because my mom taught me how to play piano at a really early age. My mom was
That's right, your mom was a pianist.
my mom was very musical, and she taught me how to play piano at a very early age. And then at some point, I got involved with the guitar. It's kind of a complicated turn of events that kind of happened there. But yes, to answer your question, there was one time. So used to go to church. Used to be part of this group called Stockaders, which was kind of the church's alternative to Boy Scouts. And so we were at church. It was like a bunch of young boys. We were having fun.
And what city is this in California?
This was in the Sacramento area.
Sacramento,
yeah.
okay.
I remember 3 of the dads that could play guitar. They showed up at one of our Stockader meetings, and with three acoustic guitars, and they were playing some songs for us. It was the first time I'd ever heard guitar live in my life.
So these were a couple of the fathers.
3 of them,
Okay.
yeah, and they were doing a great job on these songs. I don't know if they were necessarily Christian songs. They were just folk songs or something.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of them were playing 6-string acoustic guitars. It was the first time I'd ever heard guitar music like that live in my life.
What happened?
And I was blown away by it.
What was going on in your head? These guys are sitting there playing and singing, and
I just loved the sound. I just loved the way they sounded together. And, I had loved music my whole life growing up.
Yeah.
But this was like the first time that I was confronted with guitar music, like that, live.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I was listening to that, and to me, it just seemed magical.
oh wow.
So yes, to answer your question, that was probably the first time where a light went off in my head.
Tell me more about that. What you were thinking, and were you experiencing something spiritual, or I mean, get back in your head when you were like, how old were you now?
Probably 9 years old.
Okay, so you're 9,
Yeah.
and do you remember anything about what you were thinking or feeling? What were you feeling?
Well, I was thinking, I want to do that. That's what I was thinking.
You said, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember that moment with me too.
Yeah.
It's just like this thing. It's like lightning strikes, and it's like, that's for me. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that instrument. I wanted
so
to play
amazing.
that instrument. Because up to that point, I had already learned how to play the piano.
Yeah.
And then in 4th grade, when I was 9 years old, they gave some people an opportunity to go learn violin during the school day. And I had been doing that, and I liked violin okay. It was fun to do. And but then when I heard that guitar live for the first time, it was like, oh, that's the instrument I want to play.
I'll never forget the moment that happened to me. There was this Pentecostal woman living in my home. I mean, it's a long story, but I won't go there. But she started playing both hands on the piano, on our old family piano.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like the angels came down and the light shone on it. It was like, that's what I want. And then I remember being at church in Portland. We would go on weekends. And there was this woman that would play piano on Sunday mornings. And I saw her at the piano during a service, and I'm like, that is exactly the personification of what I want for my life. And that came true. And it came true for you too.
It did.
So then past age 9, which is, I mean, that's a pivotal age. I think
really
you're
is.
becoming aware of your...
All kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's when it starts.
Yeah.
Okay, so... So at 9, you're saying that's what I want to do. So
Yes.
Then fast forward, was there another experience that you had after that?
There was. My dad was he was an aeronautical engineer. He worked for Aerojet in Sacramento. One day he came home with this guitar. It was an acoustic guitar, 4-string guitar. They called it a tenor guitar.
Electric? Or?
No, just acoustic.
Okay.
It's the top 4 strings only of the regular standard 6-string guitar.
Yeah.
But so just a buddy of his brought it in and had just said, "Hey, it was for sale at work," and
It just happened.
my dad thought, well, because he knew I'd been talking about,
Gotcha.
wow, how great it was to hear that guitar music.
And your dad was listening, apparently.
Yeah.
He was listening.
And so he bought this guitar, I think, from this guy. I'm sure he didn't pay a whole lot for it, and brought it home and showed it to me. And I took that thing and I just started to play it, and there was like an immediate connection, you know, just
Like when you first saw Pam.
yeah,
Not quite the
it's
same.
a little different, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah. So it was just
you can't stop what's meant to be.
no.
There was no stopping that experience that you were having. That chemical reaction between you and that guitar. Nobody could stop that.
I couldn't put it down, and like, I remember by the end of that particular day, I'd already figured out how to play some songs that I'd heard on the radio, like Puff the Magic Dragon.
Were you actually playing with 3 fingers?
Well, I was just able to pick out the melody, I guess.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about how to play chords yet, but I was able to just kind of pick out the melody.
So the interesting thing is that you are a lead guitar player, which is one note at a time. And the first time you played a
Sometimes.
guitar, well, yeah, the first time you played a guitar, that's exactly what you were doing.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. But that's kind of, I was just kind of hearing the music in my head, and I was figuring out, well, where do you play it on the guitar?
Wow.
And so by the end of the day, I realized, man, this is coming kind of easy for me,
At 9.
Yeah. And so I started to bug my parents. I started to go, okay, I need an actual 6-string guitar. I need lessons.
How old do you think were you when you asked for that?
Probably started. There was other stuff going on too, because I had these family friends that I would go visit a lot. There was 2 brothers, and they listened to a lot of like surf music, like Beach Boys and stuff like that. So I would go over there, and they were always fooling around. They had guitars over there, and so at some point I was telling my parents, I need a guitar, a full 6 strings, and I need lessons.
Wow.
So they agreed finally,
Oh,
and I
that's
started
so
I
cool.
started to take lessons. I started out taking lessons on the 4-string, but then
From who? Do you remember the person?
it was a studio in Sacramento. It was a combination dance and guitar studio. And what was the name of that place? Something in Dolores.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Carmichael, which is a suburb of Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went over. They started taking lessons there on my acoustic. And it wasn't long before they said, "Hey, this guy's going to need 6 strings, not 4."
You were still playing the 4-string?
I was. So we bought a 6-string acoustic, and I was really happy with that.
Mm-hmm. Was that for your birthday or Christmas? Or
No,
they just went out and...
I don't remember if it was for my birthday or Christmas, but at some point they bought one for me, my folks. And
So, guitar players have to create calluses on their
Yes.
fingers.
It
Do you
just comes from
remember?
practicing.
I remember that when I first started playing. Tell me, I mean, that's painful.
it is painful. I remember having to deal with that a little bit, but it never really stopped me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of
You
becoming a
had
guitar player.
You had a determination. You were gonna frickin' play the guitar.
Absolutely. I just loved it so much. I wouldn't let that stop me.
Yeah.
But yes, there was a period of time where my fingers were really sore. Every guitar player goes through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you stop playing for a little while, for whatever reason, sometimes you get to certain points in your life where you're not playing with anybody anymore, and you got stuff going on. You just kind of park your guitar for a while, and then you pick it up. And then if you play it a lot, especially acoustic guitars, they're tougher. And
Is the string further away from the neck?
a little bit. It just depends
or
on the
they're thicker
guitar.
strings, or
Yes, they're thicker. They tend to be on acoustics. They tend to be a little heavier gauge string.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? We just did a thing where I was playing a lot of acoustic. For Arlie's thing.
Arlie. Yeah, over at Pirates Cove.
So I practiced over at Arlie's quite a bit on an acoustic guitar, and my fingers got all sore.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. So at 9, 10, whatever, you started getting lessons, and that began to develop you. Can you tell us about the point when it changed up to were you playing with some people and getting more organized about what tunes you were playing, and were you performing in front of family, or?
Well, at some point, what happened was I was at school in 4th grade, and I had already started playing, acoustic.
So you would have
guitar.
been 10, 4th grade.
Yeah, 9 or 10,
Yeah,
somewhere
okay.
in there.
Okay.
But I was getting ready to go home from school. I walked by the library, and for some reason there were two older kids in there. There might have been sixth graders or something. But they had electric guitars in there. They were playing. I remember they were both playing these white solid body electrics.
Ooh.
And
did you like go? Oh my god!
And that was like the first experience I had with listening to the guys play acoustics.
Yeah.
Except that this was like the first time I'd heard like electric guitar live like that.
Yep.
And I was going. I need one of those.
That's it right there.
I gotta have one of those.
Oh my gosh.
So then I started to bug my parents. I go, I need an electric guitar. And then my dad, he was kind of playing a lot. My dad's not musical at all. And, he didn't understand the magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't understand what it was doing to me.
Yeah.
What's going on inside my head with it. So, but I kept bugging my parents. I go, I need an electric. I'm sorry, but I need an electric guitar. So when I got into fifth grade, they bought me an electric, and it was they didn't spend a lot of money on it. They bought a little tiny little amp. Mm-hmm. They bought a little tiny amp.
Were you playing with a pick, John? Or
yeah.
Yeah.
I always played with a pick.
I don't think I liked using a pick. I would use my fingernails.
Your fingernails, and then you would use finger picking. That's really
I did a lot of finger picking.
If you can do that, and if you can learn that, that's really good. I never got to the point where I could really do a lot of good finger picking on a guitar.
It's kind of complicated. I mean, timing wise, you got to hit two at the same time, and then another one, and then there's this pattern you got to get used to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they bought you an electric.
A few years ago, I bought a banjo, and I started to learn how to do. Banjo is more about what you're doing with your right hand than it is what you're doing with your left. And that's my opinion. It's much more important to learn how to finger pick on a banjo, and you've got all these different patterns they call rolls.
Yep. Yeah. Wow.
And I really enjoyed it, and unfortunately I sold that banjo. I forget why I did. I should never have done that because I was really loving it, but I was driving Pam crazy with it. So
it's pretty loud, isn't it?
It is loud, and then I would, when you're practicing the rolls, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again.
And from what I know,
she would come into the room. She would come into the room singing like what I was playing, just to kind of show how annoyed she was with it.
Yeah.
So, but it was the thing about playing a banjo. We're getting off the subject here a little bit. But
no, there is no subject.
The thing about playing the banjo, it's like you feel like the sound of it, and you just feel like you are connecting yourself with the history of the United States, and just that whole genre. It's like that's what's so magical about it. You really
the Appalachians,
feel the Appalachian, and then the westward expansion. I mean, you really feel like you're really connecting yourself to all that stuff.
Roots.
Yeah, and it has such a
bluegrass is.
I'm not sure what the word is, but it just has such a sound of.
It's
taking you there.
That sound of a banjo kind of pierces into your brain.
I still want to get back to a banjo. I got
anybody out there have a banjo?
And that was stupid for me to sell it because I bought it from this guy here in town, and it was a great. I only paid $100 for it, and it was like
was it a 4-string?
It was a 5-string. 5-string. It's 4 strings, and it had like the high 5 up here. So it's like. Yeah, I forget what they call that.
You're not saying it's a double neck.
No, not double neck. No,
I'm not sure what you're.
So it's 4 strings and they're tuned in open G.
Okay.
But then there's like a 5th string, which is kind of weird. It's like it's shorter than the rest of them, and it's got the tuning peg up here like a little higher.
Oh, really? Huh.
And it's higher. It's higher pitched than all the rest of them. So it gives you that when you're chording, it gives you that sound of like
Corning. You use the term corning.
Chording. Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
I thought that was a tune I'd never heard, or a term I'd never heard of.
No. Anyway, I sold the frickin' banjo. I never should have. I love that thing. I need to get another banjo.
I sold an accordion that somebody gave me. I probably should have kept that too.
Yeah. So anyway, back to guitar. What were we talking about? I got my first electric.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about, you were finger picking. So I played with a pick. I got my first electric. At this point, I was like into adventures. One of the issues I had with my guitar lessons was that in that point in time in Sacramento, it was tough to find guitar lessons that would actually teach you how to play rock and roll. So you're just playing these stupid ballads, like, shoe fly, don't bother
Were you just chording?
me. Yeah, just chording.
Oh.
Maybe you might pick out the melody to it, but still, just not stuff I really.
That's not inspiring.
Not what I really was. That's not why I wanted to learn to play guitar, right? So, so I love the Ventures. The Ventures was, I don't know, remember the Ventures at all?
Well, you know my story, so
yeah.
When you tell me Ventures, I go.
They were like a surf guitarist, but they played mostly instrumentals. They didn't sing. They had like a really good lead guitar player, a couple of them actually. And they made these albums called Play Guitar with the Ventures. So they were like instructional LPs where they would show you how to play, like Wipeout, Walk Don't Run,
so
Pipeline, all these classic surf songs.
So you had a 45 or
it was an LP.
album?
It was an LP. Yeah.
Okay, and they would talk and teach
They
you.
would talk and teach you. So it had like a kind of like a notebook inside the album cover.
Yeah.
And
cool.
then they would just have you practice like the the lead part, the rhythm guitar part.
Yeah.
Even the bass part would be in there.
Yeah.
And then just help you kind of go through it.
That reminds me of an album my mother got for me. She was a part of a album club, and she would get a new album every whatever month or 2 or 3. And this album came, and it was orchestrations, and the guy on the orchestra would teach you about every instrument in the orchestra. He would tell you about it, and then you would listen to it. And I would put my head down by the stereo and listen to that. And I studied every instrument. And what was I, like 6 years old? I had my head down by the stereo listening to every instrument.
Yeah.
What kid would do that except for
somebody into music?
A musician.
Yeah, it's a musician.
Somebody that's already a musician, even when you're really young. You never know. It's powerful.
Well, when I think about my really early years, all I really remember is just being I had a really cool family life. Mom and dad and my 2 older sisters, and music. That's all I remember. Yeah. Just being music to me was just like magical early on. When I was about 2 or 3 years old, before I could even talk, my mom told me this story. I don't remember it, but they had a little record player of some kind. I think maybe it might have just been 45s. I don't know that it played, but. So I just loved it, and I was always, just kind of hanging around it. And then my mom, it was like a big nuisance for my mom because she was trying to do her housework and stuff all day long. And then, but I kept needing her to put new records on, change the records and stuff.
Oh, she needed to do it because you were still really young.
Yeah, I was too young.
And you kept asking her. Mom.
Yeah, I kept going. Yeah, so she needed. So
2 or 3.
Yeah, I was really young. I couldn't even talk yet.
Wow.
And.
That blows my mind.
At some point, it was such a nuisance for her. At some point that when I wasn't around, I was doing something else. She just kind of took it and put it in the closet. Like she was thinking that if I didn't see it.
If you didn't see it, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't miss it or anything like that.
That's so amazing.
So at some time later, I don't know how long it was after that she did that. I saw in a magazine. This is what they told me. Yeah. I don't remember any of this, of course. But she said I saw in a magazine an ad for or in an ad there might have been a record player or something in there.
Yeah.
And so she said, I took this magazine and I went up to her and went.
Oh my God! You're kidding me. Whoa!
So she had to get it out and set it up for me because
John.
Yeah.
That's.
Music was like
that's huge.
That's the thing. I mean, that's like I said, music was huge for me.
At 2 and 3 years old,
even at 2 and 3, before I could even talk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised because you are an amazing lead guitar player. We in the band that we're in, the Boneyard Dawgs, we love hearing Johnny play. You're so good. I think at this point we'll take a little break, and then I think we're going to go in your room where you have all your guitars, and you can talk about that. So we will be right back.
getting old. You're driving me crazy. You're driving me crazy. Yeah, you're driving me crazy. Got to lose my doggone mind. Well, the sun comes up, but the sun goes down. But I never know when the week will leave in time. You're driving me crazy. You're driving me crazy. Yeah, you're driving me crazy. Got to lose my doggone mind. Yeah, my best friend came by the other day. She said, Johnny, don't you let me treat you this way. She's driving me crazy. She's driving me crazy. Yeah, she's driving me crazy. Don't you lose your doggone mind. Yeah. That's it.
We're back with Jon Nygaard, and this is what is this called? Is this like, what's this called down here?
This is, well,
I mean, with the material. I mean, that's beautiful.
oh,
I'm not a guitarist, so. I mean, it's like, what is it called? Bone or
this case is probably artificial.
yeah,
Yeah.
artificial what?
Oh, I don't know what you call that. There's a name for
There's
it.
a name for that.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It is artificial, but
This is the pick guard, of course.
okay, yeah.
But I forget what you call that. It's like artificial mother of pearl. Or
That's
something
it,
like
mother of pearl.
That.
That's
But
what I was going
real
for.
mother of pearl is actual abalone.
Yeah.
But this is like kind of simulates it.
Yeah. So why did you pick up this guitar?
This guitar this is my second guitar that I ever owned. I bought this when I was 15 from my friend.
Whoa.
Who had we had been in a kind of a garage band together,
Mm-hmm.
and at some point the garage band was terrible. We didn't really go anywhere, but him and he was a guitar player. His name was Paul Hammond, a great guy, and we still, even into our college years, we still continue just to get together and just do jam sessions. And this was originally his guitar. At some point, I realized I needed a better guitar than the one I had. And I loved his guitar, and he had moved on to a Fender Telecaster at that point. He had a real nice Telecaster. So I said, "Hey man, I'll buy your guitar. You want to sell it?" I said, "Sure." So I got this when I was about 15, I think. And
how much was that, John?
how much did I pay for it?
Yeah.
Not much. Maybe like $100. Do
you still play this? Do you still plug it in?
I don't. It's got a problem with the switch here. I would play it if I could get this switch fixed. So this is an Aria, which is like I know they're still in business, but I think they're mostly acoustic manufacturing now. I'm not sure. I've heard that it's hard to find this particular switch, but I'm thinking that I might be able to substitute
that's right down here.
a 5-position switch off of a Stratocaster that might work.
I have a question, John.
Yes.
You know, when you were studying guitar and you were taking lessons, and then you
Yeah.
purchased this one when you were 15,
Yeah.
I can remember the first picking pattern that I learned, and I remember who taught it to me. Do you remember the first picking pattern that you
Well,
learned?
I had to figure it out all by myself, but yes, it went something like this. And that's because
That's a minor.
That's actually the pentatonic scale.
Okay, can you do that again?
And the reason I learned that was because so many solos, simple solos in guitar, they play off of that scale. It's
Can
like,
you do that again?
And then after a while, if you learn the blues scale, you add in other notes. So it's like, So, yes, that was to answer
He does
your
that
question.
like it's like nothing.
So to answer your question, yes, that was probably one of the first scales that I would learn was just, because like a lot of the early simple solos you might hear, like in surf music or, some of those early rock songs, you'd hear something real simple like that,
That is so cool when you bend the string. That's pretty groovy.
Yeah.
Play some more riffs. Yeah, I'd love to hear some more.
So after a while, you learn newer, other positions, so you can kind of, make it sound less boring. So it's like if you're playing down here, then you might come up here a little higher.
I don't think I could ever learn a pattern like that. How old were you when you were really
Starting to figure that out?
figured that out?
Oh, probably about 13, 14,
Jeez.
somewhere in there.
Yeah. And when you practiced, did you ever put music on
Oh,
and then play along with it?
Absolutely.
Like, give us an idea of what you were playing.
Well, when I got to be about 14, I'm trying to think.
Was there a band? You said the Ventures. Did you put their music on and then
I
try
did. But when I actually kind of started to learn pay more attention to soloing, trying to think. Well, at some point when I got to be about a freshman in high school, I became just totally obsessed with Jimi Hendrix. He was still alive at that point. That's how old I am. But yes, I started to become fascinated with him.
What's a typical Jimi Hendrix riff? He's pretty wild, right?
I don't really remember
That
too
was
much.
cool.
That was more like my later hero, which was Johnny Winter.
Oh yeah,
But-
Johnny Winter. You're gonna have to educate me on Johnny Winter because I have a different history. Tell us about Johnny Winter.
Well, Johnny, so it's the same guy that I bought this guitar from. He became a Johnny Winter fan, and I had never heard of Johnny. And remember, I went over to Paul's house one time with my guitar and this guitar. and he went into his bedroom, which he used to just kind of jam in his bedroom, and he said, "Man, listen, you gotta hear this guy. This guy's so good." And he put on this album by Johnny Winter Live, and this is a really strange name for an album, because originally there was going to be somebody else's name on the album, but I don't, for all the legal reasons or conflict reasons, I don't know what happened, but that guy got cut out of the picture. So it was just called Johnny Winter Live, Johnny Winter and Live, and started playing this album, and it was such a great album. It had that song, Go Johnny Go. What's that song?
Go Johnny Go. Go. Johnny Be Good.
Johnny Be Good. Yes,
right.
Thank you. Then a bunch of other songs like Good Morning Little Schoolgirl. And then there was this really cool.
Ooh, Good Morning Little Schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Bad boy.
Bad boy. Yeah. Yeah.
The girls.
when you're in your 20s, you might still be able to do that, but you know, now that you're older, and you can't do a song like that anymore.
You better not.
But then there was this really slow blues on there. It's just, I want to do it in our band
Yeah?
at some point.
How's it go?
It's called It's My Own Fault. It's like,
Okay.
it's just like,
Okay.
you know, my own fault, baby. Treat me the way you want to do. You know, it's like that.
I like it. Woo!
Anyway.
That's nasty. I like
So,
it.
and so I forget what song he was playing for me, but he goes, listen to this guy, and he was so fast and just so tasty, and I fell in love immediately with Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
So from that point on, I wasn't paying so much attention to Hendrix anymore. It's more about Johnny, and so yeah, he kind of became my hero there after a while.
So you focus. I think when I was growing up musically, there were certain people that I focused myself after or I emulated. Karen Carpenter for me, Barbra Streisand, because these were vocalists. My third one was Vince Gill. I think he's just got vocals
Vince
like you can't believe.
Vince is an amazing guitar player.
But so you would listen and try to emulate and play like Johnny Winter.
Absolutely.
And that kind of launched you. You play better, I think, when you focus on it.
It changed my
trajectory.
It changed my whole approach to playing.
That was a big word, trajectory.
Yeah, that's a big one. No, but it did change my whole approach to playing. I just really wanted to sound like him, and
Cool.
I just love the guy. So I never got a chance to meet him. He's dead now, of course, but I did see a couple of his shows when saw him live, and he was fantastic. One of them was in a little club too, which was cool in Sacramento.
Intimate, yeah, cool.
Yeah, so we were pretty close to him, and that was a great time.
Wow. Well, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guitars here.
Is that 9?
Let's
1, 2,
Scott, let's
4,
take
5,
a look
6,
at some
7,
of these
8,
beautiful.
9, plus a bass, yeah.
These are. So this was your second guitar.
Second guitar.
And
yeah.
then.
I was kind of in order of acquisition.
Okay. Okay.
Roughly, not
Yeah.
totally.
All right.
This was actually, I bought this guitar a few years after I got this one. This was a Melody Maker, but it's a modified Melody Maker. Somebody went through here. The original Melody Makers, I think they only had 1 or 2 pickups in. They were single coil, I believe, smaller pickups. And then just a much more simple arrangement than
Now describe what a pickup is for any young viewer that might be watching this. What's a pickup?
I wish I knew more about the actual electronics of it, but it's basically it's a magnetic coil that one of the things about magnetic coils, if you vibrate a metal wire over them, it induces a little electric signal in them, and that actually goes out to the amplifier.
Okay.
So that's a pickup.
Gotcha. It has to do with being able to hear.
There's actually several different types of pickups. So there's also condenser pickups, which are just responding to the actual vibration and air compression that's going on. But magnetic pickups are more of it's a magnetic response to the metal wires that are vibrating over top of them.
Cool. Wow.
So anyway, this is somebody actually kind of tried to make a Les Paul out of a Melody Maker. That's why it's so elaborate here. And it really needs to be reworked totally, because the electronics under here is pretty shot.
Okay. What was next after this guitar?
Well, after this guitar, in the mid-90s, I bought a, this is probably my favorite guitar. This is my Fender 94 Fender Stratocaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 40th anniversary model, which is why you have the little emblem here. It says 40.
Okay.
And this is probably my favorite guitar. It's my go-to guitar.
And what is there a certain sound or a feel to this
It's
neck?
It's the neck.
The neck.
And the balance of the weight. It's just perfectly balanced.
Mm-hmm.
You put it on, and it's just comfortable as it can be. It's the neck is just so easy to play. It's just the right thickness.
The right width thickness. Yeah.
And it's very kind of sensual the way it.
A sexy guitar?
The way it fits right in there.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Well, that's important.
Yeah.
You know, when you sit down at a piano or sit down with an instrument, there's something about how it feels against or with or near you.
People that are fans of the Stratocaster will always tell you that. It's just it's the way it feels against your body.
Yeah.
You know, it's
well, yeah, it's not cutting you anywhere.
it's
I mean,
perfect.
I noticed that there's a shape to it over here, so it doesn't
and then
make
it's
your
got
arm sore.
it's even beveled here.
Oh, yeah.
So it
Cool.
it's ready to just kind of go right
Fits
in
right there. Cool.
And then also cut away here so you can access the very highest parts of the neck.
Okay. Those are important points, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is a Fender.
Fender
Okay.
Stratocaster.
Strat.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
I was in a blues band in the early 90s, and I needed something with a little more muscle than this guitar.
Okay.
So I bought this. This is a Fender. Yeah, now that was a sin. I just committed there.
Oops.
Gibson Les Paul.
Okay.
And I use this a lot in my blues band in San Jose.
You play some riffs, yeah.
And, well, it's out of tune right now. So, but, okay. There we go.
Cool.
I don't know if you can hear that over there, but
Can you hear it, Scott?
this is the guitar we played the first time at Ashley's. I played this guitar. The cool thing about this guitar, of course, it's a Les Paul. It's got the humbucker pickups, which are a lot louder and stronger. It's just generally more of a good blues and rock and roll guitar.
Mm-hmm. So the good news is, I think most of us would like to hear Johnny play more. We are going to be adding to this video some live playing with the other bands. So you have that to look forward to. So don't forget to hang on here, because there will be more. We're going to do some of that tonight. We're going to have a band practice, and Johnny we'll be featuring Johnny on some of our tunes. But this one, can you tell me about your Epiphone?
It's an Epiphone jazz guitar player.
Looks like it's from Mississippi or something.
I think it's called an Emperor. In San Jose, when I moved to San Jose from Sacramento in the when was that? That was the mid-90s, I guess. I was taking lessons from this guy who was a great jazz and blues player named Ken Schroeder, and during that time I expressed an interest to actually move more in a jazz direction.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what you're doing with your jazz trio, and so he helped me get this guitar, which I like the guitar a lot. It does have a problem where it feeds back too easy, and I need to resolve that issue. Otherwise, I would play it more.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty. I mean, it looks like
it is pretty.
It's really this. Can I see the?
Go ahead.
I'd love to see the back of that, John, because I know. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. I know some guitars. I have a friend who processes maple, and some of the quilted maple that goes on these guitars is just mind blowing. Beautiful wood.
So yeah, this is like a
Oh, that does have that jazz sound. Love it. Ooh, pretty. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And I've got
let's do a tune together.
Right now?
Sure.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Can we do Ipanema? Or can we do crazy?
Sure, let's do
Let's
crazy.
do crazy. What do I do that in A? Can you do that in A? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. So it's
Okay.
okay.
Wasn't it? Da, 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 da. No.
Yes. Thank
Is that
you.
how it-
That's it.
Perfect. Crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. Well, I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. Beautiful. Well, I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted. Oh, then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Well, worry, why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world could I do? Yeah, crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. Well, I'm crazy for trying, crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. Beautiful. That sounded so sweet.
So yeah, I need to figure out the feedback issues on this because I actually really like this guitar a lot.
Beautiful. It's got a real sweet, I mean, not even, amplified. It has a real sweet sound to it.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So this next guitar, at a certain point in time, here when I was living here, maybe around 2010 or so, I started to feel like I wanted to get it go more in a metal direction.
Oh, kind of that more distortion.
Yeah, just the metal direction. So musician's friend selling this guitar, kind of had it discounted,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a Dean Deceiver.
Oh, nasty.
Deceiver.
Yeah.
So I bought it. It's got a Floyd Rose vibrato on it, which so it gives you the ability to bend down real low and just do all this weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't long before I realized I'm not really a metal guy. So right now my goal for this guitar is I've got the action set up really high and I want to make a slide guitar out of it.
Oh, cool.
And actually you've heard me play slide on it.
A little bit.
Because it's got these pickups on here. These are screamers. So it would make a great
We want to hear more of that slide stuff
guitar.
going
It's
on.
kind of weird playing slide with a Floyd Rose tremolo vibrato system.
Oh, yeah.
But I hate to let it just go to waste.
Oh, I want more of this. We're a blues band, and it makes sense to have a slide.
Yeah.
So, keep on, Johnny.
So I still like this guitar. It's just I got to figure out what I want to do with it because I'm admittedly not a metal guy. As much as I love metal, sometimes.
Yeah.
Some bands, not all of it, but
Yeah.
some bands are very cool. Some of the metal bands I really like their guitar work on them. And
Yeah.
this is
That's interesting.
This guitar is like a cigar box guitar. This guitar, couple of friends gave me this guitar about 7 or 8 years ago. It's basically a Fender Stratocaster, but
Wow.
but mounted to a cigar box. So you
Oh
see,
my
you
gosh.
can see the similarity here. With the
I
pickup,
love
the pickup arrangement is identical, pretty much.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There's
Got it.
three single coil pickups, and then
Okay.
the pickup switch, and then the tone and volume controls are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I have an idea of, well, I want to kind of set this up for playing slide also.
Where did you get? I mean, did you make this?
No, this was given to me by a couple of friends. They just thought, oh, Johnny would like this guitar. They had,
Wow.
They spent some money on it. It was
Oh my
really
gosh.
nice that they did that.
I mean, that is really a cigar box.
It is a cigar box.
And you like cigars.
Yeah, I do occasionally have a cigar.
I think we might go out back after this and
Yeah.
see you have a cigar.
Okay.
I might even have something. Not what you're thinking.
So the thing about this thing is that the neck is way heavier than the body, so I've got to figure out a way to put some weight on this to balance it better. Because what it wants to do when I've got it around my neck is the neck wants to go down like this.
Yeah, right.
And so when you're trying to play slide, you don't want to have to be playing slide plus trying to keep the guitar balanced.
Yeah. Can you slide? Do some people almost like a dobro? Can you play it? But it's still going to tilt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've tried putting the strap in different spots. It doesn't really seem to matter. It still wants to kind of do this on me.
Yeah.
So I've got to try to figure out. And I looked online. There's things you can do to actually just add some weight to the body. It's called ballast.
Yeah. Like a ship.
Yeah, like a ship, exactly.
So
But it's got great tone. These pickups and everything, electronics work great. And the neck
I
is
wonder
really
if you put
cool.
it on a almost like a steel guitar type table, and it was already on there, and you just used your
You can like play it like flat like that.
yeah table so that it's there's support on both sides. I don't know. So tell us about the. I'm interested to see why you have a dobro. I mean, that's definitely bluegrass, isn't it?
Again, I was taking lessons with my buddy in San Jose, Ken, and he had an actual real dobro. There's the actual dobro is a pretty expensive guitar. This is like the cheaper version of that made by Regal Company. And you'll see even like a lot of the country players, you probably see the guitar like this. They tend to play it like this.
Right.
So they have it, they've got like a strapped on over there.
Exactly.
They're standing up, but they're playing it flat like that.
Right.
I just can't get used to that position.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so I don't even know if it's
So there's a couple brothers that actually invented this and put
the resonator.
the two brothers. Dobro has to do with their name, is put two names put together, but yeah. So
So
is this I know there's a type of dobro called a sheer horn. What's this one called?
Regal.
Regal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Do that
Regal's a real popular. It's got kind of a real Delta blues sound to it.
I like it. Well, you don't talk to me no more. You just sing the blues all day long. Ooh, that's a great sound. Yeah, Johnny, we need to bring that to our practice sessions. Woo!
So there's no way to amplify it is the issue.
Oh.
So I would have to like use a boom mic or something.
Oh, well, that can be
But
arranged.
I want to look into it. So when I first bought this guitar, I was trying to figure out, is there a way that I could add amplification to it? And at the time, there was nothing available that I could find out. And I talked to a couple of guitar techs, at least one that was a really good guitar tech that used to do all my repairs for me. And he said, nah, just right now, there's nothing like that. But that was years ago.
Well, yeah.
I'm thinking maybe now there might be some somebody, because this is actually a very popular guitar. It's used a lot in country music.
Yep.
And
Bluegrass.
yeah, and I'm thinking there might be something available out there now where you could actually plug it in
I would think.
and control the volume or whatever.
Yep.
So yes, this was a fun guitar. I haven't really used it as much as I should.
I think it's a great sound for
Definitely,
blues.
definitely.
So what we're going to do is, I remember I mentioned that we're going to finish our segment with Jon Nygaard over at the place where we're practicing, and we're going to feature him, and that's going to be added to this segment. So for now, we're going to sign off and say thank you to Jon Nygaard. This has been a really cool afternoon, right, Johnny?
Very cool.
It was fun for me, and from our cameraman Scott, thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
You've been terrific, and so we're going to finish this up over at the studio later this afternoon. So
All right.
hang tight, there's more to come.
Okay.